By the end of this video, you will completely understand how you can become a sneaker plug. You've seen it. You've seen the people flexing multiple pairs on release date and even, hey, sometimes before release date. And you probably even wonder like, bro, how can I become a sneaker plug? And I'm gonna break that down for you, so let's jump right into it. For those of y'all who don't know, sneaker culture is very, very popular, and there's actually a wide variety of types of people that are sneakerheads and collectors. Now, that in turn has caused a frenzy where a lot of the time, there's a lot more hype than there are actual sneakers. And if you paid attention in economics class, then you know that the magic of supply and demand come into play. And when they do come into play, then the value of an item completely spikes up. All right, so like take a look at the Mocha 1s, for example. That was one of the most hyped sneakers the year that it came out. And the shoe was fairly limited. And because of that, the value of the shoe is now 3 to 4 times of what it retailed for. So I know what you're thinking. You're like, bro, how can I get those shoes for retail? Make sure you stick around to the end because I got you. So the very first thing that you need to know when it comes to becoming a sneaker plug is how to cop sneakers, right? And the reason I want to highlight and put so much emphasis on that, because that's literally the hardest part of becoming a sneaker plug. See, the basic business model is just like any other business model, right? You buy low and you sell high. However, in this case, you're not gonna get lower than retail. So buying for retail is buying low. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, but lucky for you, there's several ways to accomplish that. So one of the ways is I know you've heard by now about those evil, terrible botters. And honestly, a good population of y'all watching this right now are gonna see this and say, I'm interested in being a sneaker botter. And honestly, a larger percent of y'all are gonna say, no, we hate sneaker botters. However, I'm gonna cover how to be a sneaker plug and not use bots, and how to be a sneaker plug and use sneaker bots. All right, so first let's talk about manually, all right? And yes, since sneaker botters have completely taken over the sneaker game, there's actually a term for getting shoes without them, which once again is called manual. Now, while most people say it's impossible to get hype sneakers on release day, no, it's not true at all. It's very possible. Stores like Foot Locker, East Bay, any sneaker store, any sneaker shop, they release sneakers in store and then they release sneakers online. Now, mostly the cop manual, you would have to take advantage of the in-store releases. But since the pandemic happened, now online is where most of it happens. So that in turn did make it harder to cop manually, because moving it mostly online now allows bots to completely feast on sneaker drops, bro. However, the raffle system gives normal people without bots a chance to cop. And that's where you come in as a manual reseller. See what you have to do in these type of situations is enter these raffles, but not just enter them like you always do. You've got to enter in multiple times. So that's using family and friends, whoever you can, to get your entries in. Now, there's another method that I cover deeper in another video, and I'll link that video, and that's the catch-all method. That's where you can buy a domain name, then get as many emails from that domain name as you need, and then enter in these raffles under all these emails. Here's a fun fact. A majority of the sneaker plugs that you see is rarely one person. And you know why? Because when you have a team that's doing exactly what I told you, when it's you and another person or you and 2 other people, y'all really maximize your chance of copping hype sneakers. Also, the Flex app for foot sites also benefits manual users and resellers, because you earn points for buying shoes. And the more shoes you buy, the more points you get. The more points you have, the more your entries are prioritized when it comes to raffle off, when it comes to new releases. And let me give you the science behind that so it makes sense. The whole science behind that is that they're trying to make it to where people who wear shoes, who actually wear sneakers, get the sneakers. However, resellers have just exploited that as well. If you live in an area that's still doing in-store releases, go to the malls and check 2 days after release, because there are actually people who leave their pairs, or in my case, didn't get notified at all that they even won a raffle. And yeah, bro, I was heated about that. Mostly what happens when you basically maximize all your chances, enter all the raffles you can, make as many trips as you can. What you're ultimately gonna do is build a reputation, right? And then build relationship. You're actually gonna be plugged in yourself now. And at a certain point, like I said, your reputation can now make you one of the most reliable sneaker plugs. See, there's 2 guys out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and specifically my city of Fort Worth, named DC Souls, right? And they have built a complete sneaker empire using nothing but manual methods. And by now, they're exactly who I'm describing with the relationships part. By now, the sneaker game is sweet for them, because now their empire is built. And now they're guaranteed to have at least 10, 20 pairs of the new sneaker, no matter what it is, because they put the time in, and now they are what you call a legit sneaker plug. And they built that empire by doing all these manual methods that I mentioned in today. All right, now let's talk about becoming a sneaker plug the other way, and that's botting. Now, depending on who you ask, botting is what's wrong with the sneaker world today. Let me know in the comment your opinion on botter. See, sneaker bots basically allow you to cop multiple pairs of sneakers, right? And when you're copping multiple pairs, the profit just adds up. Think about the numbers I showed you on the mochas earlier. Then imagine copping 10 or 20 of these at once. Now, of course, I'm not saying botting is easy at all. However, if you want to become a sneaker plug, then botting can definitely set you up to be one of the most reliable sneaker plugs. So I'm gonna give you some pros and cons of botting based on my own experience. And I'm gonna start with the cons. The biggest con of botting is that sneaker bots cost a lot of money. I mean, you're looking at least $500, and that's on an entry-level bot. Then you have top tier bots that are even going for $20,000. Now, more typically, you're looking at the 500 to 5,000 range as far as the most common sneaker bots, but every aspect of botting costs money, bro. Proxies, servers, cook groups, and I'm gonna link y'all to videos where I explain all that other stuff in depth. Now, if it's not bad enough that it costs a lot of money, what if I told you that it costs all that money and it's still not a guarantee that you're gonna even cop one sneaker using a bot? That's right, bots don't always work. It is very dependent on you knowing what you're doing. Now, just like anything else on this planet, you get what you pay for, right? But just imagine paying $5,000 for a bot and you still can't cop. It is definitely a possibility because botting is 100% dependent on the user. The overall difficulty of botting, it is a real learning curve. It's a lot of moving parts, and you got to have all those moving parts moving correctly. One little mistake and it won't work, and then you've just wasted, like I said, $5,000 on a bot. So it's actually important that before you get in, you try it out. But once again, I have more videos going into that I will link you to. Fact of the matter is that botting takes a lot of time, patience, and investment, and honestly, that's the cons. Now let's talk about the pros. The biggest pro is simple. You can cop multiple pairs of hype sneakers at retail price from the comfort of your chair. I mean, and I know I told you it's not guaranteed. However, it drastically ups your chances. You don't have to wait in any lines. It'll save you loads of time. And some sneaker bots you can actually run in your sleep. Literally, you can set them up on a timer. And I know I said this already, but I need to say it again, that the biggest pro of having a sneaker bot is getting multiple pairs, right, of hype sneakers. And why is that important? Because if you're thinking about botting for personal use, then all the money that you're gonna throw away on botting is not even worth it. You might as well just pay resale. So that's why I state that bots are for multiple pairs, right? It's for people who are trying to get multiple pairs. Now I actually got into botting myself, and I have a whole playlist about it, and I'm about to link you to that. Meet me over in that playlist. Love everybody out there. Let's get it.